Thank you. Again, you don't need to go shh. If you stop talking, everyone else will stop talking as well. Probably need to reiterate a couple of things about the way this process works, given we've changed our timetable slightly, so most Wednesdays are a little bit different. At the end of period 1, 9:45, boys, the bell will go. You then have 3 minutes to get to your PC class at the start of period 2. Okay. Your PC then will run until 3 minutes past 10, giving you nearly 20 minutes with your pastoral care teacher on a Wednesday morning. Okay. You need to make sure that you stay in your PC classroom with your PC teacher until that 10:03 bell goes. So grade 12, while I would have normally applaud your punctuality, getting over here at 9:51 is not the process to follow. Your heads of year have set a program, your PC teachers are following a program, and there's activities for you to undertake with your PC teacher. So before coming to assembly on a Wednesday morning, we go to PC and you stay there until that 10:03 bell. If that 10:03 bell goes, we then have 5 minutes to get over here, and that's the one we want you to hustle for, so that we can start our assembly by about 10:08. At this stage, we're about 4 minutes past that date. That time, sorry. So you shouldn't need more than 5 minutes to get over here. So please cooperate with us in regards to those 2 points. On another issue, Mr. Reddy is going to be talking about our agreed standards. And he's going to be publishing those agreed standards in classrooms. One of those agreed standards is to use your laptops or computers as directed by your teacher. Okay? I doubt whether any of your teachers would say, use your laptops to play games when you're in a maths class because you happen to be sitting at the rear of the classroom, which is what I observed yesterday in a particular class, walking past, looking at the screens, and something like Fortnite or one of those other games was being played by a number of boys. Okay? Use the laptops as directed by your teacher. Because, gentlemen, invariably, those 3 boys that were sitting there playing Fortnite or whatever it was will be the ones to complain that A, my teacher didn't teach me that stuff, B, I didn't know how to do that stuff, or C, I wasn't made aware of that. When we would probably assume that that's not the case. Those agreed standards are there so our classrooms are conducive to learning, but you need to buy in. You make a deliberate decision to play that game. Okay? To those 3 boys that were playing that game, I suggest you follow the teacher's instructions and do your work. If you're unsure of what to do, you ask your teacher. If your teacher is allowing you to use a laptop, you can do some independent research on that topic to solve your own problems. You're responsible for your own learning. You're responsible for the way that you conduct yourself in class. Please buy into those agreed standards so your performance improves. Can you please stand for the school song, boys?
Morning, staff and students. As we commence our assembly this morning, St Brendan's College would like to acknowledge the Darumbal people, the traditional custodians who have walked upon and cared for this land for thousands of years. We acknowledge the continued deep spiritual attachment and relationship of the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples of this country, and we commit ourselves to the ongoing journey of reconciliation. For this morning's reflection, I'm going to call Riley up in a moment, but this will be the last opportunity I get to speak to you before our commitment mass and our leadership ceremony this Friday. So boys in years 10, 11 and 12, you will be in this space participating in the mass and the leadership ceremony. Can you all please make sure you have your ties on for the marketing photos? And the senior boys, you'll need to make sure you have your long pants as well as your tie. If you're a new student in years 7, 8 and 9, there'll be an opportunity for you to come and receive a badge. I ask you to meet at 8:50 outside the doors 2 and 3, which are the doors at the rear of this space. When you receive your badge, you'll make your way out either of the side doors and you'll return back to class. The last important thing for the boys in year 10, 11 and 12, for those boys who are new or for those boys who haven't been to Mass since last year, the Mass is a sacred time where we are reflecting and we are listening to liturgy. Most in particular, when we come to communion, it's an opportunity to reflect, to be quiet, to receive communion if you've made your sacrament, and to cross your arms across your chest, just like I am now, if you are a student who is not sure or you know that you have not received your sacrament of Eucharist. When you return to your seats, it's extremely important that you use that time to maybe say a prayer and acknowledge something you're grateful for, or you may be seeking support or help. But it's a really reverent time and it's really important. And I know you do it well. It's just a reminder that it's a really sacred time. So can I ask you to please think about that when you come into this space this Friday. Now I'd like to call Riley forward.
We begin in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. A reading from the letter of St. Paul to the Romans. Give the same consideration to all others alike. Pay no regard to social standing, but meet humble people on their own terms. Do not congratulate yourself on your own wisdom. Never pay back evil with evil, but bear in mind the ideals that all regard with respect. As much as possible, and to the utmost of your ability, be at peace with everyone. Jesus acknowledged the fundamental value of every person he met. He shocked the pillars of Jewish society by associating with those who were socially unacceptable, with outcasts and with foreigners. He had time for everyone, was always compassionate, and accepted each person he met as they were. Dear Lord, help us to be more like Jesus was, accepting others for who they are, not as we would have them be. Grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. St. Brendan, Our Lady of Perpetual Help, and lift Jesus in our hearts. In the name of the Father and Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen. Now I'd like to call Mr. Corboy for the Principal's Address.
Thanks, Riley. Good morning, everyone. Look, just a few things from myself in regards to notices. I'll say a lot more at the Commitment Mass. Just with what Mr. Peers was saying in regards to the Mass, just a reminder, those who have received the communion, it's always important to consume the hosts. Once the priest has handed it to you, you do not walk off with a host in your hand. Just I've seen that a couple of times. Very rarely, but just a reminder. Again, in regards to the Commitment Mass, that is this Friday, and of course it's 10 to 12. Sir just mentioned about the expectations in regards to uniform, and also in regards to those boys who are coming down to receive their badge. Talking to Barry just before, and we're talking about ideas, and he came up with a a wonderful idea, and obviously nobody here knows that, but I think we will try it for this Friday, which will hopefully start a tradition. So I'm going to invite on Friday the Year 12s to do a guard of honour, a tunnel. So as the boys come in from the two entrances at the back of the hall here, CPAC, and they make their way down the front to receive their badge, we're going to invite Year 12 to split, about 60 on either side, to stand there with their hands raised like a tunnel. You see that a lot in football, and it's a way of honouring the team that's about to go out and compete against the opposition, and it's just a sign of respect, it's a sign of acknowledgement, and I think that's a lovely way that we could introduce the Year 7s and all those who are new to our community by the Year 12s making that tunnel for the newest of our community. So we'll see what that looks like, and hopefully that might be, Barry, a wonderful tradition that will continue on for years to come, knowing it started from the group of 2024. Okay, in regards to a few other things, so great setup for the start of the year. You're well into your classes. You know what the expectations, the agreed standards that Mr. Horan just mentioned. The diary is really important. I heard Mr. Reddy talking to the grade 11s about, if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail, and how important it is to use that diary. So I'm sure that that is being talked about in the PC groups. Let alone the essence of that diary too is about resilience and the messages that go with that. We've committed to support that program, and it's really important that you follow that, informing you how to be a decent young man. A few things in regards to the Swing Carnival. Encourage everybody to turn up. It's the first time that for the year that we'll be competing for points, and obviously we had Duick, I think it was 23 winners, so see if you can knock them off their mantle, and also start getting some points for the House Cup, which I think Gatton's took away in 2023 as well. So encourage everybody to attend that, get behind the swimmers, whether you're a swimmer or whether you're there to support. It's usually a fantastic night. Moving on, there's movement on the demountables, so you can see the steel work going in. With that comes some significant trucks coming through our property. So they're coming through at any time of day. Could you please make sure that you're just aware? I know sometimes the bell rings for a break and people run for the ovals. I need you to make sure as you run that you stop before you cross that driveway onto the ovals, please. We don't want any accidents. Also a reminder, and I've said it before, with the increased numbers, there's obviously an increase around that bus area. One of the issues that popped up, and we mentioned before, is parents are parking out gate 3. So for those who know the area well, it's the water tank over to the side and where the buses exit. It's really important that we challenge, or if you have a family member doing that, could you ask them not to do that in future, because what that does, it creates an opportunity for kids running to the car to run across in front of buses, and buses don't pull up. Very difficult with all that weight to pull up quickly. So if we ask you to park in that 2-minute parking zone or elsewhere, but do not park on the exit of gate 3, it holds up buses and it creates a situation that can be quite dangerous. So thank you for support with that. Just a general reminder, vapes, possession, smoking on the property or selling, you know the outcomes, straight externals and everything else. It's such an important social issue. All schools across Queensland and Australia are banning vapes. So zero tolerance on that. Also, in regards to mobile phones, come through the gate, it's not in your pocket on, it's in your bag off. Okay, you know the expectations there. And of course, as I mentioned about diaries and the use. Just a quick reminder, not this Friday, and I'll say again, not this Friday, next Friday is pupil free. Okay, the staff have a bishops in service, so all Catholic schools in the diocese will be meeting and going through some in-servicing for that day, which means that next Friday, not this Friday, is pupil free. So just put that before you to remember. All right, in regards to the 12s for Friday, you understand what will happen. We'll invite you to come out and do the Guard of Honour. I also will need to see grade 11 if you could remain behind after this assembly. Okay, thank you. Can I invite Barry Hankin to the lectern? Thanks very much.
Good morning, students, faculty, and staff. As we gather here today, I'm filled with excitement and gratitude for the opportunity to address you as school captain as we embark on this exciting new school year. First and foremost, I extend a warm welcome to the returning students and extend a heartfelt greeting to those who are joining us this year. Each of you bring unique talents, perspectives, and goals, which adds to the SBC story. I'm eager to witness the incredible contributions you'll make throughout the year. As 2024 gets underway, I am reminded that there are still standards to meet. To start with, I would like to emphasize the importance of upholding our school's uniform policy. Our uniform symbolizes unity, discipline, and a shared commitment to our school values. Additionally, I urge each of us to prioritize punctuality and responsibility in getting to class on time. Arriving promptly to our lessons not only demonstrates respect to our teachers and peers, but also ensures that we maximize our learning opportunities. Lastly, let's remember the power of kindness and inclusion. As new students join our community, let's extend a warm welcome and offer our support. Simple gestures of friendship can make a world of difference to those who may feel uncertain in their surroundings. Thank you for listening.
Good morning, staff and students. This morning I'm going to go through a few specific details regarding our first Interhouse Carnival of the year. Boys, I gave up predicting weather conditions a long time ago, so in the event of any kind of showers throughout the day, we'll obviously keep you posted, but generally when you go to a swimming carnival, you're going to get wet, so we will try and proceed as per program. Tomorrow we'll see house against house, mate against mate, in the annual Interhouse Swimming Carnival. Who will win? Will it be reigning champions of the last 10 years, Duig, or will the mighty Tynan Tanks break their carnival winning drought? To find out, you will need to turn up tomorrow afternoon and put your best stroke forward. The carnival will run as per program on your screen. Warm-ups will begin for our serious swimmers at 4 p.m. For those of you coming along for participation events, you can start arriving at 4:15. Carnival kicks off at 4:30 with a house cry-off, where each house will try and outdo each other with a rendition of their war cry. We often also put points up for grabs for the best rendition. We then get straight into our championship freestyle and backstroke events. As you can see throughout the program, there is ample opportunity for our non-competitive swimmers to get involved, with 25-metre participation events in freestyle and breaststroke, as well as the Interhouse Wacky Relay. Other highlights of the evening will be the Interhouse All-Age Relay, with one competitor from each age group competing, as well as the Fastest 5 race, which is where the fastest 5 freestyle swimmers of the evening battle it out to be crowned fastest swimmer in the pool. There will also be a sausage sizzle on offer for those needing an easy dinner, as well as drinks for sale, with all proceeds going towards the fight against domestic violence. It'll be a great event, made all the more special by you turning up and getting into the spirit of things. Moving on. The representative season is well and truly underway, with Rockhampton District and Capricornia trials being held across multiple sports, including tennis, volleyball, rugby league, water polo and soccer, just to name a few. Congratulations to the following students on their district selections. In tennis, Samuel Janes. Volleyball, Sebastian and Zane Kyler, as well as Riley Isles. The Open Rugby League team, Philip Yock, Tyler Melrose, Carter Ford, Jake Oberhart, Harrison Hill, Harvey Mahoney and Simon Green. In the under 15, successful students were Cooper Newton, Jack McFarlane, Titus Outer, Kobe Oberhart, Cooper Stackpool, Ethan McCourt, Trayvon Teray, Jaden Jackson, Sid Jackson and Vanamar Kilavarave. In water polo, we had Bailey Hoare, Austin McDonough, Caden Parsons, Aidan Steig and Oliver King. Soccer, in the 13 to 16 years, we had Sam Farlow, Jackson Booth, Cree Harris and Bailey Lothian. And in the open team, Matthew Rogers, William Ranger, Gareth Wakubi and Max Spivey. Also, congratulations to Jared Mahoney and Finn Watson, who recently returned from the National Softball Championships in Canberra. Their Queensland country team had a great carnival, with boys gaining plenty of experience in playing at a higher level. Could you please join me in congratulating them with a round of applause? Boys, please remember, if I don't call your name out in recognition of an achievement, it's because I'm not aware of it. Please come and see me so that we can celebrate your success as a college community. Thank you, and can I please call Mr. Oram up to the stage?
Thank you, Mr. McCloskey. Good morning, all. I'm just here quickly to announce our annual rodeo school. So for Rodeo Club and for all those new boys, every year we start our rodeo season off with a rodeo school. We've got Tim Kelly lined up, and the school will be held on the school grounds on the 24th and 25th of February, which is 3 weekends from now. That will include a day, it'll be 2 days, it'll include a day of tuition and drum work and then a day of riding practice. It's essential for all new cowboys to complete the school if you wish to ride in regular rodeo practice at the school. It's also advised for any existing cowboys to come along and hone your skills. If you're interested, please put your name down with Mrs. Hedges, who has an office right outside Mr. Corboy's office. If you give your name there, we'll go from there. If you want to know more about it, come and see me. You can find me at the Ag Shed or maybe at the staff room sometime at lunches. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I'm here this morning to talk about some changes to our term reporting that we are moving towards this term. And given that over the next few weeks our assembly schedules are really busy, I thought it'd be timely to share this information with you today. So what I'm going to talk about, everybody, is the changes that are happening to your report cards, what those changes are, and why we're actually going to make those changes. So I'll just share a little bit of background, I suppose, about your report cards at the moment. So if we just have a look at the next slide there, please, Brady. Thank you. So you can see there, guys, there's your Term 1 report card. Okay, that's what it's traditionally looked like. So you can see you've got an overall grade for the term, and then you've got criteria results. Okay, that's going to stay the same. You are still going to get that on your Term 1 report card, but you're going to get some extra information as well. All right, if we go to the next slide. Okay, so here's Term 2 reporting. Okay, now you can see there that there's a semester result included there as well. All right, and then there's comments down at the bottom. So all of the information about the results will stay at the top. The comments at the bottom, they will stay. All right. But the key changes that we're moving towards with our reporting is on this next slide. Okay, and it's around these teacher judgments. All right, you can see there at the moment that there are 7 teacher judgments that each semester, previously, our staff have made decisions around how you're travelling with each of those criteria. Now, if you look at the top 3, all right, what you can see is that the understanding of topic and concepts, the next one, use of genres and language, and the ability to interpret tasks, if you think about it, they're actually related to academic aspects, all right? And generally speaking, teachers are probably thinking about how have you done overall on your assessment, what result have you got, and use that when making decisions for those top 3. All right, so in fact, what's going to happen is we're going to get rid of those top 3. And we're going to be going from 7 teacher judgments back to 4. So the top 3 are going to go, all right? Now, the next 2, ability to work independently and participation in class activities, that's going to be consolidated into 1. And those bottom 2 there, cooperation with teacher and peers and completion of home learning tasks, those 2 are going to stay. So if we flick over to the next slide, those are our new teacher judgments that each term your teachers are going to make decisions on around your performance here at school. All right? Now, what you can see is that there's no real link to your academic result there. All right? I'd like to think of these as, these are like non-academic predictors of success. And if you think about what each of these things mean, all right, it's really about your approach to your learning, all right, and your attributes as a learner. Okay? And, you know, when you think about what it takes to be someone who's going to be able to be a lifelong learner and to be able to learn new things on the job, these skills here are going to be very, very important. Okay, so these are the new teacher judgments that will be there, and they will appear on every report card, okay, at the end of term and semester. Can we just go over to that next slide, please? The next thing so we can see there, all right, previously you saw on the report card that there was 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 at the top. All right, now Mrs. Hunter has done an amazing job, and she's been able to this morning get the report card to hopefully appear like this. All right, now what your teachers will be doing is they will be making decisions around, well, how consistently are you prepared for learning? All right, engagement and application to learning. I'll talk about these shortly. You know, cooperation with teachers and peers and home learning, and your teachers will be making decisions around the frequency which you display those learner attributes, okay, and your approach to your learning. What are we going to do with that information down the track? If we go to the next slide, please. Okay. What you can see is that we're going to align a number value to each of those frequency descriptors. Okay, so consistently is given a 5, frequently is a 4, mostly is a 3. Now, down the bottom, you can see that I've added those values up. So preparation for learning, that student there got a 4, engagement application got a 5. So they've all been added up and then divided by 4. Okay, and obviously it averages there to 4. Now, what that's going to give you is a rating for how well you're engaging with your learning, all right, and the behaviours that you're displaying as a learner. Now, we think that this is super, super important, all right? Your ability to be able to be your best, not necessarily the best, is what this is all about. Every single student in this college has the capacity, all right, and the ability to be able to consistently apply those attributes towards your learning. And that's the great challenge. It is really the great challenge for you, yourself, to be able to do your very best all the time and consistently meet those expectations. Why though? Because in the end, if you do these things consistently, what's going to happen is you're going to accumulate small wins in your learning. All right? And when that all adds up over time, when you consistently display those behaviours there, that's going to add up to help you to fulfil your potential. And that's what this is all about, boys, just being your best. All right, we'll unpack these criteria a little bit further. So if you can click to the next slide there, please. All right, the first one, preparation for learning. Now, that little snippet there, that has come off our agreed standards posters that are going to be going up into our rooms. All right, now we've got that there as number 1 because we think this is where it all begins, fellas. Being punctual. Punctual means on time. You're there, ready when your teacher is there to take you in. lining up outside the room with all the required equipment. Now, equipment-wise, super important that you have your diaries with you. They're your number one organisational tool, recording your homework, listing things that you need to do, enabling your teachers to work with the Resilience Project activities if they choose to. All right, your diaries are important. Obviously, your laptop's always going to be required. You're going to need all your writing materials, a pencil case. All right? By being prepared with all of your equipment, you're able to efficiently do your work to the highest quality. All right? You imagine being in a maths class and you've got to draw some shapes with a ruler and use your calculator to work out the area of a shape, but you don't have those materials with you. All right? It just slows you down. You don't perform to the best of your ability. It's a bit like going to footy training and wearing your black leather shoes. Okay? The quality of your movement's not going to be as good. You're not going to be able to perform to the best of your ability. Being prepared with equipment is super important. The last one there, uniform, it's been touched on already this morning, but I understand, guys, that after you come back from, you play that your uniform might be a bit out of sorts, but it's time to check it. All right, tuck your shirts in or get yourselves presentable before you go into class, please. All right, the next one, please. Okay, so this is, again, a new one, engagement and application. And you can see there it's about the student working to the best of his ability and displaying engagement. At the end of last year, all of us as teachers, we got together and we made a list of, well, what are the things that we think, what are the behaviours that we like to see that enable students to display engagement? Because we're going to need to make decisions around, well, how well are you actually doing this? Those things that are listed there on the board are what your teachers will be looking for. All right? So there was all of these ideas that the teachers gave, okay, and they've been synthesised into that little list of things there that you can see. But the first one, demonstrate active listening, okay, and that would mean that you're tracking the person who's speaking. So if your teacher's at the front of the classroom talking, then you're actually going to be looking at them facing their way. Not looking out the window, not playing with your pen, not drawing in your book, not looking at your mate, you're listening to the teacher. All right? And that goes for anybody who's talking in your room or is on the air at that point in time. All right? Now, there's a series of other aspects there that we'll certainly be looking for you to demonstrate engagement. All right? I really like when I see the one there, persevering when at first not successful. Okay? Because it's normal to be in a class and be learning something and not be able to do something straight away. That's normal, guys. That's actually learning. That's where the learning is happening. But it only happens when you persevere. Okay, so perseverance is really, really important. All right, now there's a series of those there. I won't go through all of them, but that's certainly part of what the teachers will be thinking about as they make these ratings. All right, we'll move on to the next one. Mr. Horan touched on the one there with laptops already today. But first and foremost, cooperation with teacher and peers. How well do you do that? Well, the agreed standards posters that go up in your rooms are going to show that really well. All right, what are those things that we're always expecting you to do? I really like number 7. All right, it's about supporting and encouraging your mates to learn. All right, kindness is magic, boys. If you can help your friends, all right, to learn and work together, then that's going to be create a really nice learning environment for everybody. All right? We know as a college that it's really important that the learning environment is really, really sound. Okay? And like got spoken about at the beginning of the year, that's a key reason, that's one of the big reasons why your parents send you to this college. All right? And we're doing quite well with it, but we always know we can do better. All right, so being responsible, being respectful, treating others how you'd like to be treated. All right, the last one, home learning. A little bit of a graph there for you to sort of try and decipher as you sit there. Now, if you look at the graph and can you see the top left part there, it says first learned 100%. There's that blue point where it meets the y-axis at 100%. Assume that you went to school on a Friday and you learnt 10 new things. All right? That's 100% of what you learnt on that day. Now, assuming if you just follow that line down now and you get down to day 3 and you can see that that grey, the blue turns into grey and it hits the x-axis there, and after 3 days, well, you're only probably going to remember about 60% of what you learnt. However, if you look at day 1 where that first dotted line vertically goes back up, if you revise what you've learnt in class, then that's going to help you to retain more information. Home learning is essential for you to help to turn your short-term memory into long-term memory. And the more that you revise, the more that you go over things, the better. Okay, so you can see there, as you review your material and the content, then that's going to help you to use it later on. Okay, so home learning is really, really important. I know from talking to some Year 11s at the end of last year, now Year 12 students, and one of the big challenges was not having enough time. Well, if you don't have enough time, to do your home learning, then I suggest you have a look at the screen time on your phone, all right? Then evaluate whether or not you've got enough time to do home learning. All right, moving on, please. So in summary, there's the changes. We're decreasing the teacher judgments to 4. It's about non-academic predictors of success. What's it going to take for you, all right, to do your very best? It's going to be on all report cards. We're looking at aligning it with an award system. This is about being your best, not the best. Every single person in this auditorium, right here, right now, has the capacity to work towards that. Okay, so they're the key things. Just the last thing, guys, is academic awards assemblies. Please note the following, that we're doing split academic awards now. Okay, because of obviously the size of the school, we're going to be splitting that into 2. So the Senior Academic Awards Assembly is in week 5, Wednesday the 21st, all right? And then the following week is the Junior Academic Awards Assembly. So if you are currently in years 10, 11 and 12, you're going to be in here for that. If you're currently in years 7, 8 and 9, you will be in here for the second one. Please note that you need to wear a tie for that day, please. All right, now there has been information go out.
Hunter Emery to student reception, please. Hunter Emery to student reception.
There has been information go out around this, and there was a couple of technical glitches with the mailing system. All right, but please note there the dates for each of those. Okay, that's it from me. I'm going to hand over to Mr. Gill for dismissals.
Good morning, boys. Thanks, Mr. Reddy. It's important that you keep those things in mind, boys, especially because we are looking at recognising your efforts the best you can be. So we are going to be pushing really hard on everyone aiming for consistently across those records. Now, before we do dismissal, a couple of notices. First of all, a bit of weather around today. So the Oval is closed today. We've had a lot of rain. The Oval's going to get a lot of wear. So the signs are out. The Oval is closed. That also means for general lunchtime, boys, be aware of the weather. Don't hang out in the rain. Don't act silly in the rain, or you're going to get referred up to your head of year for some consequences. Be responsible, be sensible, just be aware of the weather today. Year 11s, I need you to stay behind for a very brief message, please. Year 12s, if you could exit out the rear door. Year 10s out the side door, thank you. 9s, 10s, go. Year 11s, sit back down. I need to talk to Year 11. Back you go, boys. Won't take a sec. Oh, you're killing me, Year 11. You're on the wrong side of the hall. Absolutely killing me.